Good morning and happy Friday. This is Robert Foreman. I am an Arizona real estate broker and MLO. And this little screencast is going to address price to rent ratio. What is it? What does it do? And what's it saying about some select communities in the Phoenix market? So, a lot of you who have talked to me and clients as well know that I'm a graduate student. I'm getting a master's in data analytics. And so, this particular semester, my project is to come up with an analysis that determines whether or not it's financially beneficial to purchase a home or rent a home within the next 5 years in the Phoenix market. And so, in doing some background work, I recalled learning in real estate school a long time ago the price to rent ratio that agents and brokers back in the day would give to potential home buyers in to determine whether or not it was feasible financially to live in a particular area, either by purchasing a home or by renting a home. And it's a pretty straightforward formula. If you follow up at the top of the screen, I've got highlighted PR equals median home value. You're going to take that number and you're going to divide that by taking the median rent for that particular city or subdivision, multiplying that by 12. That's going to give you your denominator. So whatever that number is, you're going to divide that by or into the median home value, and it's going to give you this number. And so, what do you do when you get this number? Well, if the number is at 15 or less, this is per the rule, it's cheaper or more affordable to buy as opposed to rent. If the score comes up in between 16 and 20, then it's leaning towards renting. Of course, there's all sorts of other factors that doesn't get taken in consideration with this ratio. But if it's 21 and over, then it makes sense per this ratio to rent. Now, several things. If I turn this ratio in for as a sample of my work, I would get an F, right? There's certainly a lot more factors that are out there. One that stands out to me as a loan originator is the impact of interest rates. So even if home prices are rising, the mortgage payment could still fall if interest rates are falling. However, it does mean that as prices rise, buyers have to put together more money for a down payment. So that bigger down payment may be a deterrent financially from purchasing a home. So let me just do a quick example of this. And I'm sorry my electronic pen isn't working today, but we're going to take a look at a subdivision called Verrado. It's a big subdivision in the West Valley. So I'm going to go into MLS. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what the median rents were for Verrado in the month of March. All right, so the median was $2,350. And I'm going to multiply that number by 12. That will get us our denominator. But before we do that, we need to find out what the median sale price was. So we're going to go in to a different search. And I just want to look at closed sales. And you notice that I'm looking at all sales. I'm not looking at just single family residences. It's just everything, whether it's a townhome, condo, that's going to be factored into our value. So let's go to Verado. And we're going to look at everything that closed in the month of March. Okay, so it looks like there were 56 sales. All right, so to come up with that median value, I'm going to take 580 plus 591, and I'm going to divide that in half. And that gives me a value of 585.5. So we'll plug this into our formula. Go ahead and copy that formula. Wow. We're going to round up to the nearest tenth. So the index says it is at 20.8. So does it make sense to buy or rent? Well, it's almost at 21. And considering that values are still increasing every month, it's probably, according to the ratio, in the borrower's interest to rent. All right, so what does the rest of the valley look like? So I went ahead and checked out some of the cities my partner and I have been doing business, both purchase, selling, and refinancing. And let's see what their quotients look like. All right, so you can see this top block here, Mesa through Chandler, that's pretty much the Southeast Valley. Well, it's actually spread out all over. Mesa's in the Southeast Valley. It's at 18.3, so it's leaning towards renting. It's still not over that 21. Tempe's the same. Scottsdale's definitely over the ratio or over that ceiling of 21. But all these other cities are leaning. And remember, 15 and under is, according to the ratio, the desirable number. If you get that number under 15, then you should be purchasing. So some of these cities aren't too far off from that. But given that all of the cities are appreciating month by month, eventually, if it continues, all of these cities are going to be pushing towards that rent. Now, I mentioned that this is a pretty crude tool because it's only considering two numbers. The project that I'm working on has 12 factors actually in considering whether or not buying or renting or coming to a conclusion, which one of those steps are the way to go. Once that gets completed, I will do a screencast on that and post my results. That should be in the first part of May. But if you have questions about the market, buying, selling, I'm a loan originator. You want to know what the rates are, what recommendations I make as far as financing right now, please call, message, text me anytime. You can see what my incentives are for buying and selling right here in this yellow media piece. And have a great weekend. I hope this information was helpful or at least interesting. Have a great weekend.